and being a part of our show tonight. Welcome, Coach Rob.
Thank you so much for having me. It's an honor here to be able to kind of share information, anything I can do to help maybe somebody on their journey, to play in college, and most importantly to get a better life with academics.
Beautiful, Coach Rob. Bring us up to date in terms of your journey, Coach. 21 years in collegiate soccer.
Sure. I mean, in a nutshell, it happened by chance. Obviously, we all, when we're young, we have this dream of being professionals and playing and having careers in it. And so, unfortunately, my career was cut short with injuries. I've had, ankle surgeries, knee surgeries. And so, when I started, I finished my degree and I started teaching secondary school. I taught foreign language. And so I thought this is what I would do. But then I heard about an opportunity to get a master's and maybe have it paid for while you coach. And so I applied to different universities, and I had the opportunity to go to Rutgers University and get my master's in international business and marketing while dipping my toes into college coaching for the first time ever. And I started on the women's side. And so I was there for 4 years and got my master's, and then moved on to become a head coach for both the men and women's at St. Joe's. Developed a nationally ranked program, our women's program, went to the conference tournament both years. And then from there, I went on to coach just men at Bethel University in Tennessee and NAIA school. Then I went on to the D2 platform where I've been since, and that was at Midwestern State in Texas, and then Cal State Monterey Bay in California, and now at Missouri University Science and Technology. And so I've been around. Some say it's a lot of movement, but I've had a lot of experience, and most importantly, I've got to meet a lot of great individuals along the way that have enriched my life as much as I've hopefully made an impact in their life.
Beautiful, Coach. Coaches, what is some of the information you would share with some of our viewers on some of the social media platforms and here on Zoom in terms of aspiring student athletes? What is some of the things you would really want to share with them on their journey as they work towards getting into college and university?
Sure. I think, in this time of day, social media is huge. I've gotten a lot of followers of potential recruits looking to try to play in college. And so it seems like, that's the platform they'll use. They'll start to follow us on Twitter. They'll send messages and then Facebook and all. So I always say that, try to reach out to college of interest and reach out to the coach, because social media, like I said, we use it, for branding, but we also use it to kind of reach out to those that are using it, because it seems like it's more of what's going on than just pure emails and that kind of stuff. But I will remind potential student athletes is watch what you put on there. I mean, that's a thing now. You've got to watch what you put on the social media, because, what you think is innocent may not be innocent when eyes are on there. And especially if it comes to a point where we're get to a point of being serious about a potential recruit.
Interesting information, Coach. I was now going to piggyback on that statement you made in terms of the social media platform, in terms of some of the information that kids might just think is having fun, but that could be very dangerous, right, Coach, in terms of your scholarship? Yeah.
I remember one coaching roundtable we were at in front of a club team back when I was in California, and the presenter, made a point of, there was a football player that had a full ride scholarship and basically lost that scholarship, which was a value of about $250,000, because of what they put on their social media platform. And, one thing that just dive in just a little deeper is, it's not so much, let's say you were somehow able to elude college, people, and you got in, but now you go into the job market, and then you go into the job you want, and then they have that conversation. They go, we'd love to hire you, but sorry, because you can't hide whatever it's out there. That's the thing about social media, good and bad. The good, it allows you a great platform. The negative is, no matter what you think I'm hiding or anything, someone can find it. There are some very good people. And in fact, many universities now have people dedicated to look at social media and to follow and to kind of see what content is being put on there, not only for student athletes, but in students in general. So to make sure that they're getting people into university that are representing it in the right way, not in the negative way.
And coach, it's just to give the audience, listening audience, some information to it. It's a lot of finances that our colleges and universities are putting out there to have kids get into their school. Yes.
Yes. I mean, I always tell, recruits that it's an investment, and you never want to, say it's a business, but it is a business. When coaches invest in a player, they expect a return on that investment. They expect him to be, model citizens off the field, get the class, get the grade so you're eligible. And then on the field, depending on the type of packaging, then there's those standards. Obviously, someone that's on a full package, the expectations are probably going to be greater than somebody that's maybe on a smaller package. But still, there's expectations, because one thing in life is nobody likes to invest in something and not expect something back in return. So.
Interesting, coach. Interesting. Coach, give us some information about your program, coach, in terms of your, the kids that attend your school.
Sure. I mean, I'll give you, I can't dig deep in, because, I can't, by NCAA rules, I can't, recruit for us, but in terms of, to give you an idea, when I was, academics give you choices. And so at a school like ourselves, we are a top tier university academically. We're actually, one of the top engineering schools in the nation, #1 public university, #5 overall. And, there's a lot, we're very strong business. So we have very strong disciplines. And so the requirement to get into places like ours are going to be a little different than maybe someone else. It's just a matter of what you're looking for and the challenges, because I think a lot of times, with recruits, they're not always really clear on the academics and what they're looking for. They're more interested on the football, but they'll tell you academics are important. But then when you see some of the choices, you're like, well, maybe you weren't forthcoming, because again, if you're truth about the academics, then you would have looked at maybe more into the academics than the football side. But I get it. Everybody wants to be part of successful programs, and for us, we're up and coming. We've got a lot of positives. We've trended in the right direction. But our conference in general is one of the premier conferences in Division II. I mean, where we had 3 teams ranked in the top 15, and so it's a very elite conference. With very challenging, and it's a great. It's a great opportunity to get one of the premier academic degrees while playing collegiate soccer, because at the end, no matter where you go, the degree is what's going to be life-changing, because as we all know, 7% of high school people go to and play college sports, and 1% play pro, and less than that make a career out of it. And so there's a lot of pros, but fewer that actually can say, I made a career. I don't need any more money. I'm financially set. So the academic side plays a role in there. And no matter if you made a career, at 35, you're pretty much done. So you need a second journey. You need a second, ready to go. So, I think people need to realize the academic side will play a role somewhere in your life. And so really look into what that degree will do.
Interesting information, Coach. Coach, in terms of the collegiate soccer in the US, let's bring it for 2022 versus let's say 2016. It's a much different place now.
Oh, sure.
In terms of the standard of soccer, in terms of the American kid, and also in terms of the international kid. If you could dive in or drill down into that first, Coach.
I would say, without a doubt, college soccer is way different than 2016. So if you look at 2016, generally the NAIA schools, D2s, had, internationals, and then, Americans D1s typically were still mostly, Americans. But if you look at what the recruiting cycle in the landscape is, their internationals and American, and the level of American play is just, it's gone off the charts. I mean, you look at who won the national title a couple of years back at D1, Marshall. I mean, their team essentially were all internationals. And so again, the international is played a positive role in increasing the competition at the college level, but not just at what people used to see the NI level, but across all levels, NIA, junior college, D3, D2, and now top 25 D1s. And so, I mean, it's been a great platform to go on to the next level. And the one thing in the United States, every year it seems like there's more and more pro teams come into the mix, which is creating opportunities more and more for players that are here in the States. And so I think that's a big thing for internationals, is there's more opportunity than maybe where they're coming from, that they're looking at, hey, I could come here, MLS, USL2. I mean, so yeah, there's more opportunity now than there's ever been. And in 2016, you think that's only 6 years, but where we were there and where we're at now, it is tremendous, the jump that we've made with opportunities for players.
Yeah, the growth is just significant, Coach. In male soccer and female soccer.
Oh, yes.
The facilities that is being built and the different leagues, and soccer is really taking off in America. I must say, Coach, too, in terms of, if you were to drill down a little bit into the American kids, into their level of play, it's really doing good, Coach.
Sure. Yeah, the Americans, with the academies and the different levels, it's just, soccer is the most played sport in the youth system in America now. It's the most played. I mean, still you have the popularity, at the highest level still is, NFL, basketball, those things, and baseball, but the MLS is gaining on a lot. I mean, that, they're close to overtaking some of these other, what used to be major sports, but in the youth system, it's without a doubt, soccer is the #1 played on both sides, the males and females. And so now with better coaching that's here, and the more education we're giving players, and the higher level of training, you're starting to see so many more Americans that are going and bypassing certain things and going overseas to play. And if you look at our national team, and you look at the youth there and how many of them are playing in big time clubs in Europe, it's amazing. It's just, and it's fantastic. And same on the women's side. If you just look at the opportunities, the American game is definitely grown, tremendously just in the last, like I said, 6 years, with the opportunities that are here, because the USL not only benefits internationals trying to come, but it benefits Americans, because now you have some that are deciding, hey, I'm going to leave maybe early because I have an opportunity to go pro and develop, to maybe give me that opportunity to go to MLS, where that wasn't before. It was either, get drafted from college or not, but now there are other options, and some are choosing those options maybe instead of maybe diving into college right away. So I think, there's a lot more options. So I think you're going to see that in the youth continue to grow, because now there is a more pathway to play pro, where before it was a little difficult because everything was overseas, but now, no, MLS is gaining respect each and every year for the quality that it produces.
And what makes it even better, Coach, too, before the COVID, you had a number of top international clubs coming to the US every year. I know there's clubs right now planning to come now that it's being opened back up, and that is really creating a buzz in the US. Even the female game, Coach, if you could touch on the female, I know you did some coaching there.
Sure.
The female game in America, it's huge.
It is. When you look at, I think if you look at it in perspective, in America here, I think it'd be safe to say that on the women's side, women's soccer was started here in the US. When you look at how far we're ahead, we were, because other countries have caught up, and they've invested, resources to developing their national teams. But the US on the women's side was by far way ahead of everyone. We were super athletic. But now you look at our women's team, not only are we continue to be super athletic, but technically, I mean, just amazing when you see the youth and the technical game. And then, I have a colleague whose daughter's playing now in Iceland, professionally. And so the opportunity is growing. And that's the thing. It's just not here. It's in Europe. You look at Chelsea and some of the Premier League teams they have on the women's side now, and they're, supporting them. And so now there's great opportunity. You're seeing American females going overseas and continue the professional career, as well as you're seeing the women's game here in the US and the professional opportunities that they're having. So, I mean, it is without a doubt, it growing on both sides, and the females have had greater opportunity they've ever had at the pro level. And then the men also have gained great opportunities. So on both sides, like I said, I think it's frustrating because, people just don't realize how globally and what soccer does to bring, cultures together. And I think in America, it's hard to get over that, hey, it's really a two-sport game here in football and NBA. But I think as we continue and they realize, I've had coaches that went to Europe on vacation and happened to take a professional game in soccer, and they're like, hey, it was crazy, the chance. And I go, I told you, the passion. And so we've gained respect. Just look at how many athletes are connected in the MLS game now. You look at how many owners are NFL players or actors, so it's there. It's the facts are a reality. There's more people wanting to invest. You look at Matthew McConaughey, he's part of the Austin FC. So all these people are jumping on board, realizing, hey, soccer is here to stay on both the male and the female side. So it's a great growth here in the United States right now.